It's Thursday, January 15th. In the headlines, the University Hospital of the West Indies Board reports Auditor General's findings to the police and customs after a damning audit. The United States announces suspension of the processing of immigrant visas for citizens of 75 countries, including Jamaica and other Caribbean countries. In business news, NCB Capital Markets to support Jamaica broilers. Regionally, Caribbean nations among 75 countries hit by U.S. visa suspension. And in is the news on PBC Jamaica. I'm Simone Absalom Gale. The Board of Management of the University Hospital of the West Indies has reported matters arising from the Auditor General's Department audit to the Police Fraud Squad and Jamaica Customs. The disclosure followed the tabling of the AGD's performance audit report in Parliament on Tuesday, which identified widespread procurement breaches and the misuse of the UHWI's tax-exempt status to benefit private companies. The audit cited significant weaknesses in the hospital's governance, procurement, and contract management systems, warning that the deficiencies increase the risk of corruption and could undermine healthcare delivery. In response, the UHWI board says it is accelerating corrective measures, including a comprehensive review of procurement systems, regularizing and suspending affected arrangements, and strengthening oversight and compliance mechanisms. The audit, which covered the period 2019 to 2020, 2024 to 2025, notes items such as office furniture, laundry, and medical equipment, which were declared as hospital imports but were never acquired by the hospital, breaching the Customs Act and leading to more than $20 million in unpaid duties. Overall, the report placed the value of the affected imports and procurement activities to $76 million. In its initial response, the UHWI confirmed that it has ceased facilitating imports for private entities using its tax-exempt status and acknowledged that the practice breached procurement law and public trust. The United States will suspend the processing of immigrant visas for citizens of 75 countries, including Jamaica. The suspension is set to take effect on January 21 and will not apply to non-immigrant visas, including temporary tourist and business travel. In addition to Jamaica, Caribbean countries on the list include Antigua and Barbuda, Barbados, Cuba, Dominica, Grenada, Haiti, St. Kitts and Nevis, St. Lucia, and St. Vincent and the Grenadines. Immigrant visas allow foreign nationals to live and work permanently in the United States and typically require sponsorship by a family member or employer, leading to the issuance of a green card upon approval. The Education Ministry has announced major adjustments to national examinations for 2026, including the suspension of the Grade 9 Achievement Test and new options for CSEC and CAPE students in affected parishes. The changes follow consultations with regional and international examination bodies. Danita Rodney has been following that story.
The Ministry of Education says the Grade 9 Achievement Test will be suspended for 2026 with a new placement mechanism to be used for students transitioning into high school. According to Acting Chief Education Officer Terran Thomas Gale, the assessment will now be administered to a limited number of students, mainly to support placement decisions.
Our national exams, as at the secondary level, we have suspended grade 9 achievement test. For 2026, we will use a different placement mechanism for we have about 50 students maximum that we give this assessment to get to transition into high school.
Meanwhile, changes are also coming for students sitting CSEC and the Cape. Following consultations with the Caribbean Examinations Council, 2 options will be offered to schools in specific regions.
We have, through consultation with the Caribbean Examination Council, we have decided on 2 options. Option A will see students in the parishes, the regions 1, 2, 6, and 7, they will sit the full administration of the Caribbean examination exams for CSEC and Cape. That is, they will do the paper 1, the paper 2, and the SBAs. The option B, that's a modified approach, that is for the affected parishes.
The ministry stressed the decision is not made at the individual student level, but by each school in consultation with parents and students.
What is interesting to note, we are not just giving these parishes this option. They have the choice, through consultation with their students as well as their parents, to decide on the option that is best for their institutions. The options are not students related, but they are institution related, meaning the entire school has to sit the option. So in these parishes, they can either decide if they want to do option A, which is the full administration, or if they are so impacted that they want their students to do option B, which requires them to only do the multiple choice and the SBAs.
In a further development, Jamaica has also received a special concession from CXC relating to school-based assessments.
Through our consultation with CXC, Jamaica was given a SBA concession. That means there's a modified version to what the school-based assessment component for our students should be for Jamaica. If it is that our students have already completed their SBAs, they are not asked to redo it. If they have not, they can now apply the concession that has been awarded to them through CXC.
As for city and guilds examinations, the ministry says those will proceed under the regular administration. Education officials say the adjustments are aimed at ensuring fairness and continuity for students across the affected regions. Reporting for the news on PBCJ, I am Denita Rodney.
Time now for the business report with Denise Williams.
Welcome to today's business report. I'm Denise Williams, bringing you the developments shaping markets, capital access, and business decision-making across Jamaica and the region. Let's get into the stories that matter. Jamaica Broilers Group has secured $15.1 billion in financing from NCB Capital Markets to help with its turnaround after an accounting scandal in its U.S. operations. This was after the company took the decision to strengthen its leadership, restore financial controls, engage auditors with specialized sector experience, and bring its U.S. operations under the direct supervision of the group's Jamaican-based leadership. The proposed solution from NCB Capital Markets includes 6.4 billion Jamaican dollars in loan from NCB Bank, in addition to NCB Capital Markets arranging for 8.7 billion Jamaican dollars in multi-tranche bonds extending up to 14 years. The NCB team also led negotiations with other domestic creditors of Jamaica Broilers in resetting financial covenants and modifying the collateral security package. This is expected to provide Jamaica Broilers with the stability and runway required to execute its recovery strategy, reinforce internal controls, and return its operations to sustainable performance while supporting continued growth of its local operations. The private sector organization of Jamaica, PBCJ, has appointed former NCB Financial Group President and Chief Executive Officer Patrick Hilton as its new president. Mr. Hilton succeeds Metriciaga, who completed a 3-year term marked by strong private sector advocacy and institutional strengthening. The PBCJ says Mr. Hilton brings more than 3 decades of experience in banking and finance to the role. PBCJ Executive Director Sasha Vassiani Riley says Mr. Hilton's leadership and credibility across the private sector will be critical as the organization advances its advocacy agenda focused on productivity, competitiveness, and sustainable growth. For the trading period of January 14, 2026, the most actively traded securities were Trans-Jamaica Highway Limited with 6,265,912 units, representing 23.49% of market sales activities. Atlantic Hardware and Plumbing Company Limited with 4,649,996 units, representing 17.43% of market sales activities. Kentire Holdings Jamaica Limited with 3,230,992 units, representing 12.11% of market sales activities. Investor activity remained concentrated in transportation, advertising, and distribution plays, signaling continued interest in dividend-producing and strategic assets. Turning to the foreign exchange market, based on Bank of Jamaica data for January 14, 2026, Forex traders recorded significant activity with strong demand across major currencies. In the US dollar, trading margins reflected steady liquidity, with the US selling at $158.71 and buying at $156.93. For the Canadian dollar, moderate gains supported by 52 cents transaction spread. The Canadian dollar sold for $114.13 and was bought for $113.61. For the British pound, continued volatility offered short-term trading opportunities of $1.71 in profits for the banks. The British pound sold for $213.12 and was bought for $209.94. These movements underscore the importance of cash flow timing and currency awareness for businesses managing import costs, debt servicing, or overseas exposure. For the credit report tip of the day, luxury real estate is more than a transaction. It represents safety, legacy, and the life you've worked toward. Whether you're buying from the diaspora, securing a home for retirement, or daring to pursue a property you once believed was beyond reach, your credit report becomes the quiet voice speaking on your behalf. It tells lenders whether you manage pressure with confidence, honor commitments over time, and are ready for the responsibility that comes with owning something extraordinary. When your credit reflects intention and care, doors open, not just to property, but to the future you've been preparing for. And that's today's business report. I'm Denise Williams, bringing clarity to capital, markets, and strategy. Until next time, stay informed, stay intentional, and keep building forward.
In regional news, Antigua and Barbuda and 10 other CARICOM countries are reportedly among 75 nations on a new U.S. State Department list that could see the processing of immigrant visas and green cards paused as early as next week. The reported move, aimed at applicants deemed likely to become a public charge, has prompted Antigua and Barbuda's top diplomat in Washington to seek clarification. Garfield Burford reports.
The United States has said it is suspending the processing of immigrant visas from 75 countries, the latest move by President Donald Trump against foreigners seeking to come to America.
The story has been dominating the headlines within the past few hours. U.S. broadcaster Fox News, which reports seeing the State Department memo, says the measure is aimed at cracking down on applicants deemed likely to become a public charge.
Upon becoming aware of these reports, I made immediate inquiries with the United States Department of State. As of this moment, no formal announcement has been made and no official communication has been issued to the embassies of the 75 countries that are reportedly affected.
The pause will reportedly begin on January 21 of this year. 11 of the 14 independent CARICOM member states are on the reported new list. The 3 CARICOM member states not on the list are Trinidad and Tobago, Guyana, and Suriname.
Contrary to some media reports, the measure under consideration does not apply to all visa categories. It relates only to applications for immigrant visas, commonly referred to as green cards, which are subject to a temporary pause of up to 60 days while vetting and screening procedures are reviewed.
The State Department memo reportedly includes this statement, quote, immigration from these 75 countries will be paused while the State Department reassesses immigration processing procedures to prevent the entry of foreign nationals who would take welfare and public benefits, end quote. So far, however, there has been no formal communication to any of the 75 countries on this matter, and the U.S. Embassy in Barbados has reportedly received no direct information from Washington. Meanwhile, Sir Ronald provides this crucial clarification.
It is also important to clarify that applications for immigration to the United States are matters exclusively between the individual applicant and the government of the United States. The country of nationality or origin, such as Antigua and Barbuda, has no legal or administrative role in decisions relating to the grant or refusal of immigrant status.
CARICOM Chairman and St. Kitts and Nevis Prime Minister Dr. Terence Drew is defending the regional bloc's response to recent developments in Venezuela, following criticism that its statement was not strong enough in condemning U.S. actions. SKN Newsline's Andre Huey reports.
St. Kitts and Nevis Prime Minister Dr. Terence Drew, the current chairman of CARICOM, is defending the regional organization's statement issued on the recent developments in Venezuela, which saw the removal of its president Nicolas Maduro by the United States. Some were critical of CARICOM's response, saying it should have been sterner in condemning the U.S.'s action. But Prime Minister Drew suggested that CARICOM's position was based on consensus with the leaders of the region.
CARICOM's statement is a collaborative statement. It is a joint statement. In CARICOM, you have all of these independent sovereign countries and associate members. It's mainly between the independent countries or the sovereigns. And a scenario is put forward and a statement is to put out. The statement involves everybody. Let me tell you, let's say you put out a statement and countries start to dissent. You see what happened between two Tories recently. A statement went out, two countries end up on different sides of the statement, and a big spat in public with one country eventually settled down, and I think, calm heads prevailed. But if each time CARICOM is to put out a statement, and you have a country dissent, and this one dissent, and that one dissent, and then you have this spat in public, that does more damage to CARICOM than really getting around the table and saying what is the best situation we can reach in terms of putting out a statement to deal with a particular scenario. It does not necessarily have to be what is happening with Venezuela and so forth, but it can be on almost any other issue.
At the time of the incident, CARICOM said it is actively monitoring the situation, which is of grave concern to the region, with possible implications for neighboring countries. Dr. Drew became CARICOM chairman at the start of the year. Andre Huey, SKN Newsline.
The government of Grenada is moving closer to major reform of the nation's cannabis laws with the proposed Drug Abuse Prevention and Control Amendment Bill 2026. The move signals a significant shift in national drug policy.
The Drug Abuse Prevention and Control Amendment Bill 2026 will be presented at the January 20th sitting of the House of Representatives. During a press briefing on Wednesday, the move towards adopting a policy of controlled decriminalization was explained as one that seeks to reduce criminal penalties for cannabis-related offenses while maintaining strict regulatory oversight. The amended legislation and drug policy will be grounded by three main pillars, as explained by Minister for Agriculture Lennox Andrew, who cites this as a paradigm shift, a change in the status quo.
Pillar number 1, restorative justice and social equity. It is a tool to rectify the past. We are providing amnesty and the expungement of records for cannabis offenses that falls within the specifications of the bill. We are upholding the constitutional rights of our Rastafarian community, recognizing the right to use cannabis as a sacred sacrament within the places of worship. Pillar number 2, personal rights and public safety. Our second priority is towards individual rights and public safety. This is a measured shift, not an introduction to an unrestricted market. We are decriminalizing marijuana to individuals aged 21 and older. We are also decriminalizing the possession of up to 56 grams of cannabis and 15 grams of cannabis resin for private use. We are also permitting registered household cultivation of 4 plants. This ensures adults can address their personal health needs in privacy without fear of arrest. Pillar number 3, Grenadians' first industry.
Attorney General Senator Claudette Joseph indicated that Grenada is one of the last jurisdictions to move in the direction of decriminalization.
In Grenada, we are getting on board, some may say belatedly, but we are getting on board with what is now accepted as international standards in relation to the decriminalization of cannabis. By this amendment to the Drug Abuse Prevention and Control Act, that's the act that criminalizes certain dangerous and controlled substances. And cannabis is there provided for in the legislation. The adjustment is made based on the scientific information we have. So under the legislation, cannabis will still be a controlled substance.
Chairman on the Cannabis Committee, Anselm Clouden, cited the economic benefits to be derived from this new approach.
A multi-million business, and it is precisely for this reason that the President of the United States of America, President Trump, as the Attorney General had alluded to, moved cannabis from a Schedule 1 to a Schedule 3. And the raison d'etre of that is to develop a comprehensive medicinal cannabis industry. The President himself said that a number of people were coming to him ill, sick, and he found it appropriate to bring relief to them. So that we have to move with dispatch, with alacrity, with sound legislation to introduce a medicinal cannabis industry to our country. It would create tremendous employment.
It is also explained that once the bill is passed, the records of individuals who are in trouble with the law for small quantities of marijuana will be expunged. Chrislina John, GBN News.
In sports, we look to cricket. Cricket West Indies made a confident start to their ICC Under-19 Cricket World Cup 2026 campaign, cruising to a comprehensive victory over debutants Tanzania at the High Performance Oval on Thursday, playing in Kingstown, St. Vincent and the Grenadines. Here's more from Nasir Mohammed.
Barbados won the toss and elected to bowl first, and their decision paid off early. Trinidad and Tobago struggled to build momentum, eventually posting 97 for 5 from their 20 overs. Veteran batter Brittany Cooper top scored with an unbeaten 33 of 15 deliveries.
Will challenge the boundary.
While captain Karishma Ramhara contributed 21.
Should go to the boundary.
Bowling for Barbados, Nijani Cumberbatch finished with figures of 2 for 18.
In this innings, she tosses one up and she's boldly and curvy.
In reply, Barbados reached their target of 98 with 9 balls to spare, finishing on 99 for 7. Ebony Brathwaite led the chase with 26 of 19 deliveries, while Trishan Holder made 18 at the top of the order. Shamilia Connell provided late impetus with an unbeaten 16. Trinidad and Tobago's bowlers fought hard, with Brianna Haricharan claiming 3 wickets, but it was not enough to defend the modest total.
Mid-on, straightish mid-on. Yeah, and it's another wicket.
In the 2 earlier matches of the day, defending champions Guyana held off a late charge by the Windward Islands to win by 7 runs, and the Leeward Islands defeated Jamaica by 9 runs. Match Day 2 continues on Thursday, January 15th.
And that's it for the news on PBCJ. Pleasant viewing.